Hello, everybody. How
What's
are
up,
you?
Chris?
Hello.
Hey,
All right. If we could, let's get some video on. There we go.
Okay.
We can see all these faces. Somebody's in the mountains.
Sorry, my camera doesn't work.
Who's that?
That's Marianne.
Okay. Hi, Marianne. Your camera doesn't
Hi.
work?
No, sorry.
Cool. How about you, Zach? Does your camera work? You sitting in front of your computer?
It's not really working either.
Okay. Well, I am Chris Thompson. Welcome to Design for Print. Some of you guys have had in class before. Good to see you, Jeff. Good to see you, Matthew. Had you guys an intro. Am I missing anybody? Anybody else had me before? Are you driving? No, good. Driving in class. Okay, so we're Design for Print. Welcome, everybody. Just so I know, I'm kind of a new instructor too. I've only taught one semester at Nashville State. I actually went to school back in the 90s at Nashville State, so it's kind of fun for me to teach here. What year in progress are you guys? Is it a 2-year program? Is this semester 3 for you guys? What's up?
Yeah, semester 3.
Semester 3? Cool.
I went part-time at first, but so I don't know what point I'm at, but I graduate
Okay.
next spring.
Part-time at first. Okay, awesome. What do you know about Design for Print?
that's why we're here.
Well, I need to know. I kind of want to fill out. Usually, my first classes are just kind of figuring out where the knowledge base is. Where are we in the process here? What do we know? What don't we know? Like, we kind of know what printed materials are, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah.
For
Is
instance,
this like learning about package design or anything like
package
that?
design. Yeah, I think the last semester I taught it, which was last fall, we ended up doing a set of packaging.
Cool.
What else gets printed?
Magazines,
Mhm.
billboards.
Yep. Magazines are kind of a rare breed anymore, aren't they?
Yeah.
We have billboards, we have posters, right?
Mm.
I got a bunch of cool
Mhm.
posters hanging in my house. I love poster design. What else gets printed?
Book cover.
Newspapers.
Newspapers?
Hmm.
Because somebody said book covers? For sure, book covers are awesome. I like designing book covers. They're fun. Who has a favorite book cover design?
I don't know.
There's so
Can't
many
really
good
think of one.
ones.
They're all really good.
When I was in New York, go ahead.
Sorry. I did a project on Chip Kid covers.
Okay, Chip Kidd. Yeah, he's a famous book designer, right? For those of you in my intro class, we kind of know who Chip Kidd is, don't we?
Yep.
Cool.
Very serious person. Very serious.
Tell me about it.
What else? I guess, have we covered it all?
Business cards, advertisement, flyer type stuff.
Restaurant menus. So there's still kind of a need for print. Oh yeah, sorry, I missed something.
Graphic novels.
Graphic novels. Oh yeah, those are cool. What do you think the difference is between, like, why do you think a class on design for print is necessary?
To make sure when you print things, it looks right.
As
also-
a designer, knowing the specs of what you're going to be printing on is important so you can design it correctly.
What else?
So you know how to design, period. You know all the different elements, and it can apply to everything.
Well, what's really cool about print, especially when it comes to like packaging and things, it's kind of an experience, isn't it? Who has an Apple iPhone?
I do.
Like when you get your Apple iPhone, isn't it great to like open up the box and experience? Like there's even like ASMR unpacking videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff we want to make, isn't it? Where it's like when you open it up, you're like, oh, wow, this is awesome. This is so great. I need to video it.
Mhm.
You know, I think people do it with shoes and some other stuff. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of different ways. What about t-shirts? Right?
Right.
Those get printed. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. So that's going to be like my first classes. Usually it's just kind of like a get to know you session. I'm going to try and figure out kind of where you guys are, where the knowledge base is, so I can kind of come in right behind it and get you guys set up to where we're making some good stuff. There is a difference between designing for like screen and things that get printed. And mainly it's in color mode, right? There's a different way that things get printed than they are to like show up on a screen. Does anybody know the difference in the color modes between digital and print?
You mean the RGB and the CMYK?
That's right, RGB, CMYK. It's two different theories. We'll get into it later in the class, but basically it's the color theory of additive color theory and subtractive. Like for printing, I remember I learned in school, and it was one of those thoughts that just never left. It was like a tomato, we see tomato as red because it reflects red light and absorbs all the others, right? So there's a different process, whereas additive color, like on a screen, it's like the combination of red, green, and blue light that actually makes white. And the absence of light, what does it make? Black. Yep. Whereas in CMYK, it's the addition of colors that actually make black. So we do CMYK, you can get a rich black by putting black down and then cyan, yellow, and magenta. So let's do, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just do a little get to know you session here since we'll be spending 15 weeks together. I'll start. My name is Chris. I've been a designer for, I'm really scared to do the math now. Let's see, I started in 1998. So, gosh, does that make me, I've been practicing for, can't be 30 years. Is that just 20? I guess
You
it's,
say 98?
yeah, this is 20 years.
22.
22.
Yeah, 22 years.
Good at that math. Good
That's
math.
that's why I'm an artist and designer. And throughout my career, let's see, I started working in Nashville. I worked here for about 10 years, ended up being a creative director for a mega church. Before that, I worked around at a couple of shops, GS&F, which is Gish Sherwood and Friends at that time before they I've worked at Bohan, back when it was Bohan, Carnegie, and Cherry, and what else? But anyway, and then I left and I went to New York City and I worked under a designer named James Victore, and I worked in New York for about 7 or 8 years, and we did a lot of like really interesting kind of stuff, like a lot of work for Time Magazine, Esquire, Wired, the New York Times, and then we had some interesting collaborations like with Yoji Yamamoto, who is a fashion designer, and did a lot of kind of interesting projects with like Brian Eno and David Byrne, and then we were doing some kind of creativity and kind of designish workshops, to where we would do like the dinner. We had this dinner series that we would have people from all over come in and spend a week with us, and we would lead them through creative exercises. And then at night we would have like a dinner with a different kind of like luminary. Like we had Stefan Sagmeister, we had Chip Kidd, we had George Lois, who was a famous art director for Esquire back in the 60s, and a couple of contemporaries like some writers and filmmakers and things like that. And it was just kind of all about creativity. And then in 2015, I came back here and kind of launched a freelance thing and been teaching. Oh, in New York, I started teaching at the School of Visual Arts. And then when I got back here, I've taught at O'Moore and Watkins that are now been bought by Belmont. I've taught at NOC, and now I'm teaching here. And currently, I am a creative director for a just a advertising company that specializes in higher ed. So this is kind of a good fit. I like teaching, and I like the whole higher ed kind of thing. So let's go around. That's me, and I live in Creve Hall, which is south of Nashville. Ariana, did I say that right?
Ariana.
Yep, Ariana. You're up.
All right. I'm a graphic design student. And I'm thinking I'm either want to go into some form of illustrating
Okay.
or maybe complete graphic design. Not completely sure yet. Probably do both.
Yeah, you can. You can do both for sure. In fact, having illustration talent as a graphic designer will help you out tremendously, and vice versa. Knowing graphic design and the fundamentals will help you with composition and a bunch of stuff. It'll just make you way well-rounded.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Dixon. I'm never sure.
Dixon?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, the commute for this Zoom's got to be a lot nicer, right?
The what?
The commute for this Zoom meeting's a lot nicer than showing up in person, right?
Oh yeah. I'm not too far, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, Matthew, you're up.
Oh. Okay, so I am a graphic design major.
Huh?
So I am a graphic design major. I've been at NSCC for a couple semesters now. Chris, I've had you in one of my classes before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been in one of your classes before. And by the way, Chris, if you don't mind me saying this, my mom has a brother and you kind of look like him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool. Familiar face.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it? Where do you live?
Like 5-10 minutes away from NSCC.
Oh, okay. So you're in West Nashville? I like it over there.
More like down the street.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, Jeff, you're up.
All right. So I'm Jeff. I've seen most of y'all. I believe everybody, maybe,
You know me?
except for Lisa. I've never seen you before. But anyways, I've got one more semester after this one. I live in Clarksville, and I don't know, since COVID and stuff, I think I've done 2 projects outside of school, 2 logos for some people, and I've started doing T-shirts actually. So, yep, that's me.
Awesome. How do you print? You doing full-on screen printing, or is it digital, or what are you doing?
So it's been direct to garment, which is awesome, but it's awesome but expensive. But, currently looking for somebody that does laser heat transfer.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll be cheaper. So we'll see.
Cool, man. Love to see some of the stuff you're doing. Maybe you can do a show and tell in a little bit.
Ooh.
All right, Linda, let's hear it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Linda. I'm from Dixon. Got one more semester after this one. I'm in graphic design, and I'm retired. I'm quite a bit older than the rest of you, but I'm my is I really have to focus on a career after I finish school. So I had ambition for a while, but I like working on things with fun. So I'll probably end up doing freelance.
Cool. I think I caught most of that. You were cutting in and out just a little bit, but.
The internet in Dixon is not great.
So it looks like it's going to be freelance for you once you get finished.
I think so, because I get a lot more out of it when it's something I enjoy, and when somebody's making me do it, then I just dig my heels in, and I end up staying up all night before I finish it.
You know, that's a common thing for this business. We'll get into some of that stuff too, like how to work for a living and not kill yourself. That's something that I've been working on for the past.
By the way, Chris, I forgot to mention, I also have one more semester after this one.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. So you guys are on the final lap.
Yeah.
So to speak. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll go to Lauren Foster.
Hey y'all, my name's Lauren. I'm from Clarksville. I'm a graphic design major. Been pretty busy over the summer, done a few. I did a rare artist competition, and that was pretty intense. So I find out how I placed here in a few weeks, and I've done some t-shirts and some other designs because we just launched our first awareness week for the disease that I have. So I had to be a part of that, and that was pretty incredible. So
Cool. Hey, what'd you call it? A rare what?
Called a rare artist competition.
What is that?
So you can, they have like different levels, obviously. Some are kind of children. There's digital photography, painting, and people within like the rare disease community, they try to make movements through legislation with design. And so I ended up creating this like orange and white zebra because normal white and black zebras mean rare diseases, and the orange is the color of my disease. So I kind of incorporated it, put the disease into it, and then I kind of just added a bunch of people and made different zebras into different diseases. And I guess it was a huge hit. So now they want shirts and all this other stuff for Rare Disease Week next week. So, or not next week, next year. So
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. All right. Lisa, you're up.
So, I've done, a long time ago, I actually did graphic design, and in a long time ago. So I actually learned how to do it both without the computer and with the computer. And over the years, on and off, I've done that. But I just got a photography certificate this past May at Nashville State. And I've done some video production. And why I'm doing this is I ended up for like, I don't know, 8 to 10 years, I had taken care of my parents and kind of put my life on hold. And I was trying to take classes, and I had to work the whole time in between. But I'm kind of relaunching my life. And I just figured that I'd go ahead and kind of focus on every aspect of anything artsy and creative, because I'm naturally just an artist. I mean, not just, but that's who I am really. And I wanted to get back into a design class for 2 reasons. I just wanted to get up to date with whatever's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently working part-time at a golf club doing all of their marketing materials using Canva, but I had not really done graphic design in a long time, but it's easy for me to do. However, I know that there's more out there, and I really want to go on my own because I don't make any money there, but I love what I'm doing.
Right.
And I really need to now that it's like, it's my life now and not, you know, working for helping other people, I need to make a good living somehow. And so I'm trying to figure out if through the graphic design, I don't know which avenue is going to help me to get to figure out what the best career path for me is for the rest of my life. And since I've done this on and off, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it, and then I hated it. And I got away from it for quite a while. And then that's when I found out about the videography and photography. I mean, no, photography I've always loved, but the video, and I ended up getting lots of jobs doing video production, but because I have this art talent inside, it always is gnawing at me where I need to express it. And so I'm coming back full circle as far as doing the graphic design again, but it's not the way I used to do it. And I have done different things like screen printing. I've done, I did work one time doing packaging. I've done a lot of logo design a long time ago, but I just finished an Illustrator class, so I'm creating logos. Anyway, I'm all over the map, but at the same time, not really. It all works together, but I do want to get my skills back, and I really want to know what I know and learn what I don't know.
Awesome. Well, I like it that you make work with and without the computer.
Yeah.
I try and train all my students to,
Yeah.
I want to go to the computer as the last step, not the first one.
It's more fun that way.
It really, well, I mean, it is, and you have access to way more stuff. Like when we worked in the studio in New York, a lot of times we would actually tile things out to scale, like if we're working on a poster, and then print things, trim them out, and actually lay it on top and work, you know, a little bit kind of more old school. Because, you know, the screen lies. Like if you're making something for print and all you've seen it was on the computer and then it gets printed, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to look how you think it's going to look because the screen just lies. It's a good approximation, but it can't tell you color, even when it comes to proportion. Like those of you guys who were in my intro class, doesn't type look differently printed?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, I remember that lesson.
Yeah.
Apparently that dog remembers it too.
Yeah, whose dog is that?
Sorry, that's fine.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I told Bronson I have a boxer. I told him he's got to be quiet. He's used to me doing Zoom. For my creative direction position is from work too. So I just stay at home all day. In all my meetings, I pitched to Florida State College in Jacksonville today, and I've got another pitch on Friday for Kettering University up in Michigan. I think they're in Flint. Okay, who's next? Michaela.
Hello. I'm a graphic design major as well. I live in Clarksville, and I've been trying to do some freelance work off and on for the past 2 years, but I finally quit my full-time job to really get into it this year, and unfortunately COVID happened.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I've just been I actually am working with a company called Local Clarksville. I just got on with them, and I'm helping them rebrand a little bit and do some other graphics for them. And then I actually pitched myself just randomly to VIP Clarksville magazine, and I had a meeting with them 2 days ago, and I'm going to jump on board with them and learn the ropes of magazine stuff. So
cool.
I'm super excited about that. Yeah.
Well, this class should help you out in that aspect.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I've done a ton of magazine work, so.
I really like layout stuff, so I think I'm going to focus on that until I improve my drawing skills. So it's pretty terrible.
Well, what's great is, like, if you've seen any of my work or the work we were doing in the studio up in New York for things like Time Magazine, the last thing you would say about us is that we were good at drawing. As long as it's got style and it communicates, you know, you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, everything keeps rearranging, so I'm trying to figure out who hasn't. Let's go with Zach. Zach, tell us about you.
My name is Zachary Williams. I'm from Sylvan Park, so I'm pretty close to the school. And My major is graphic design. And I don't really know, like I'm trying to look for an internship right now for graphic design, but I'm having a little difficulty kind of finding a place, because of
Why is
COVID.
that?
I don't know. A lot of places don't really they're not really looking for people, I'm finding, or like close by. Well, I haven't
Right.
really looked that much either, so because I've only started, so.
I would suggest just pitching yourself. Like I looked at their magazine and I was like, cool, I want to learn from them. So I emailed them and I was like, can I have a meeting with you? And it worked. So just pitch yourself to someone who you want to work with.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody you ever want to talk to is only two phone calls away. Okay, Zach. The next we have is Marianne.
Hi. I'm Marianne. I recognize a few of you.
Whoop, you went muted.
Oh shit. Crap. So yeah, sorry. I'm a little bit of a potty mouth. Bad habit. But I'm a graphic design major with visual communications major with graphic design concentration, and I want to get into like animation or like illustration stuff. I'm sort of split houses. So I'm both from Bellevue and it's one part of Nashville. I'm not sure which side, probably east. I don't know. And so I'm like sort of in between, or like Nashville State is like in between there. So yeah.
Cool.
Is there anything else?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You tell me.
I guess I like video games.
I do
like
too.
bullet journaling recently.
You do what?
Bullet journaling. It's like you like decorate a notebook for like a planner.
Oh, cool. Yeah. What kind of video games are you playing?
I like I guess independent developers, well, the smaller games. I like puzzle and I guess like the relaxing like simulation sort of games.
Yeah, I was just talking about smaller developers. Have you ever heard of Hello Games?
What have they made?
They made No Man's Sky, if you know where that one is.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
I play that one. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm playing through. It's old school. Visceral Games is Xbox 360 release of all the Dead Spaces. If you like horror and sci-fi, those games.
I'm kind of a scaredy cat, so not exactly.
Will scare the crap out of you.
Oh yeah.
It's really good at great at building suspense and then just yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, and I think we have last but not least. I am going to butcher your name. I'm sorry, but is it? And you help me out.
Okay, my name's Grisette Ramirez Anguiano.
Okay, Grisette.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, my name's Grisette. I'm majoring mostly in graphic design. I just have next semester to finish up. I'm also very well is into a lot of art. I've been trying to do a lot of mixed mediums every now and then. Like I'm currently trying to work on mostly painting. I am also a big fan of comics, which if you can't tell in the back, and I'm also very well into gaming.
Yeah.
And of course I have a favorite group if my background cannot tell either.
I can't tell.
That group be?
It's too small.
They're called BTS. I have a couple of posters.
My sister
and
likes them.
Other things around. And you can't tell from the shelf, but I have all of their albums mostly on one shelf over there.
What does BTS stand? Is that what they go by, or is it for short?
Yeah, it's a Korean K-pop group. It's short for the Korean name, which is Bangtan Sonyeondan, And in
Okay.
English, they go by Beyond the Scene.
I love K-pop. Like I go to a.
I thought it was behind the scenes.
Well, that was the term beforehand, because usually before, if you looked up BTS beforehand, there would be a lot of behind the scenes stuff for a bunch of other things.
But there's a Korean barbecue place like right down the street I like to go to, and they're always playing K-pop stuff in there. I love it. Just the look. For some reason, like South Korea looks like it looks so, what's the word? It's so clean. Like at least in their videos, it looks like you can eat off the floor. It looks like so like, you know what I mean? Like everything is so polished, so clean. Like there's not an ounce of dirt anywhere. I love it. Okay, cool.
So my sister likes K-pop as well.
Where is your sister? She's usually in classes with you. She's still in school?
Yeah, but she's not in this class.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering. So she's finished. Her schedule's a little different than yours this semester.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, that was the get to know you section of the class. Woohoo! All right. Let's. I think we need to go over the syllabus, but before that, I'd kind of like to know a little bit more about what you would like to learn in this class. Do you have any expectations? Anybody?
Mm.
Haven't thought
Yeah,
about it?
that's a tough one.
No one has any Oh, my job's easy. Woo. Glad.
Teach me everything you know. How about that?
What's that?
To teach me everything you know.
Yeah, basically. I agree with Lauren.
Yeah, turn this class into a boot camp.
Ooh, okay. I can totally do that.
I'm just saying, that's what it feels like.
Let's see. Okay, what do we know? We know what tracking means. What does tracking mean?
Is that the space in between the letters?
All the letters on a line.
Yeah.
There we go. You can tell somebody who's been in my class. What's the difference, Jeff?
So tracking is an entire
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
set line, the distance between all the letters. And then kerning is the distance between just a single set of letters.
Like two.
Two, yeah. So I always think of tracking as like the whole entire train track. It's the space between the entire track.
That's a good way. I'm going to steal that. That's a good way of thinking.
You're
I was
welcome.
just about to say that.
Okay, what's letting?
The vertical space between not paragraphs, but lines.
Between the lines, yeah.
Almost heard it. Come on, Matthew. Bring it home.
That would be the space in between individual sentences, or close to it at least.
Jeff, you know a better way to put that?
Baseline to baseline.
There you go. That's all you need to know. Letting is baseline to base, the distance from baseline to baseline. Why is baseline important?
That's
Where all the letters are sitting.
Exactly. It's the most accurate way to describe what's happening with letting. From baseline to baseline, it's the distance between, because you have ascenders, you have descenders. What's an ascender or descender?
descenders
The part
is
of the
the
letter
part of
that goes above the baseline or below the baseline or above the, I forgot the top line, what it's called.
Ooh, what is the
Descender.
top
X
line?
height.
Ooh,
X height.
who said that?
Ariana.
Ah, good. Brain on Ariana. Awesome. Okay. And we already discussed, like, there's two different color modes, right? There's what are they?
RGB and CMYK.
Great. What else do we need to know? How well versed are we in the software?
Medium.
We don't seem to
versed.
have a problem with Zoom.
Yeah, right. Actually, when COVID happened, I invested in Zoom stock.
That's smart.
Really?
Mhm. Okay, let's see. Okay, how are our Photoshop skills? Where are we? From like 1 to
That's not Photoshop.
huh?
Like a solid 6, maybe.
6.
6,
I'd
7,
say,
roughly.
Yeah.
Does everybody agree with that statement?
Yeah.
About a 6 or 7. You're a 5.
I
Okay,
work in it a lot, so I would consider myself like an 8 or 9, but I know there's so many functions that I don't know. So I don't really know where to put myself.
Well, let's just think about how good are you at making things. Like, you don't have to know, like, software changes, right? Like, I don't really teach a lot of software. I'll get you to where you can use it. But as far as like going through all the filters and everything, I find that teaching people that way makes them think creatively. They're very software aware. So the software kind of dictates. So here's my opinion. And it's an opinion. How many graphic designers on the planet do you think are practicing graphic design right now?
Probably a bunch.
Bazillion, right?
Yeah.
And they're all using the same 3 tools: Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator. So I like to teach my designers to think first and then figure out how to make it. But since those 3 are going to be primarily what we're working with, I just kind of want to get it. How are we on InDesign? That's going to be something that we're really going to work on this semester.
InDesign is my favorite application.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's your
it's a
favorite?
lot easier.
Your girls,
than
okay.
I
Photoshop.
love
Very
it.
easy.
Huh? What was that?
From
I
who?
heard 3 people talking at once.
Oh, I just said I love it.
You love it? What do you love about it?
Yeah. I don't know. I really like typography, so I like how I can manipulate it so much more in InDesign, because that's basically what it's for, is just type. And
Exactly what it's for. Yes. So let's I'm
But
sorry.
I used to use it a long time ago, and then I haven't used it a lot recently. But I'm real proficient in. I just had the Illustrator class, and I've been doing Photoshop for a lot of years, and so I know how to do it. But I know that when I did the Illustrator class this last semester, there were so many more tools than there were a long time ago. So I'm not sure if InDesign is that way, but I have access to it to get up to speed on it. Are there a lot more tools too?
Lisa, let me tell you something. Most of those tools are just marketing.
Okay.
If you've used the software, I still use the software like it was like version 1. Like, a lot of people, like, there's a bunch of like content aware stuff now, and but honestly, you know, a lot of the new features are just kind of trying to get you to upgrade.
Okay. Then I'm good.
Then you're good. I think you're good. Okay, what is all right, let's talk about this. What is Photoshop for?
Photos.
Photo manipulation.
image editing and rendering.
You can do some of that. You can do photo editing. You can make, for digital, they've got a lot of tools in there now. Like, I'm starting to do a lot of digital ads, and I'm working in Photoshop, even though I don't really, it's a little clunkier when you start adding the type in. But they've added some vector stuff that's kind of nice, that makes my job a lot easier, but still it's kind of clunky. Like, for digital, a lot of people use Sketch. Anybody ever heard of that program, Sketch?
Yeah.
Vaguely?
I've never used it, but everyone that wants a freelance graphic designer requires you to know how to use Sketch.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I've never used it before though.
It's kind of like this weird InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop hybrid thing. It's made for digital so that you can go quickly from a comp to a build.
A what to a what? I'm sorry.
A comp. What's a comp?
Computer?
Nope.
Position?
What's that?
Composition?
Rough layout design.
I'm sorry?
A rough layout design.
Yeah, it's like a rough layout.
Oh.
Some people call it a composite, but
Mm.
it's been shortened to comp. So if you want to do a comp, you do a rough layout. This is a comp. This is kind of what it looks like, and then usually
Like an
developers.
outline.
No, just kind of like a rough layout. Like,
Okay,
they used to use it like in old school terms, where like when you actually had like paste up artists and things, they would like comp things together really quickly before you actually built a mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
Like
What
taking
is
paper and putting things all over it to see what your idea is, and then you use your computer.
Yeah. So what is a mechanical? Because I want to teach that. That's terminology that's fallen out. But what's a mechanical?
Isn't that the rendering that you do after you have the comp before you really make it perfect?
When in old schools, mechanicals were what went to. They used to. Okay, so I'll give you a little history lesson. The way before the computer, they used to have these big white boards that they would actually lay out stuff. So you would have like a paste up artist, and they'd had like paste over here, basically because they would paste up very cleanly and very nicely. You would go to a typesetter who would set all your type. They would get that printed out and give it to you, and you would paste it up on the mechanical with any kind of imagery, and you would put it on to scale. You put it on, I forget what it's called, Lexmark or something kind of boards, and they would put up a mechanically and mathematically precise mechanical that then would be shot. A lot of people, they also call it camera ready. Has anybody ever been asked for a camera ready art before? If anybody asks you in this day and age, just laugh at them. Because what they used to do is they used to take the mechanical on this board, and then they would shoot it with a high like photostat camera, and that's how they would make the film. Of course, I'm getting ahead of myself because the whole print process, which is why this design for print, is that all these files that we make for design for print have to separate out into CMYK. What does separation mean?
There's like different panels with different colors, and they're separated like that.
Right. Well, there's a cyan plate when we print, right?
Yeah.
There's 4 colors. There's a cyan plate, a magenta plate, a yellow plate, and a black plate, right?
Right.
And so to separate this stuff out with a line screen, anybody know what a line screen is?
A screen?
It's kind of a screen, right? So what they do is it's basically a dot pattern that they put in that when these 4 colors merge, they make one complete picture. And I think for next class, I'm going to make myself a little note. I think there's a nice video somewhere that explains all this.
Speaking of video,
Visuals.
did anyone else notice that this meeting is being recorded?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should have said that. Sorry. I think they asked me to record it. Plus, I thought it'd be helpful to post it just in case you guys want to like go back and.
Well, great. That's what I plan on doing.
Watch it again. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. So it needs to, like, when you say color separations, that means your composite image, your full color image separates into cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. If it can't do that, it don't print. And there's been many design horror story where, you know, things fall apart in the separation process or don't print correctly. So that's kind of what we're going to go on. I don't want this to be a completely production class, but there are some production notes that we need to kind of focus on. I think also I'm going to make some notes for production techniques. Who knows? I don't know how to spell. There we go. I figured out how to spell technique. Spelling and math, don't ask me. All right. What is an emboss or deboss?
It like changes the depth of it.
Yeah.
Like it's like an imprint or like a recessed part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like an emboss is something that kind of like, I wish I had a example.
Like a footprint in the paper.
Yeah, kind of. And if it comes up out of the paper, it's an emboss, and if it goes down into the paper, it's a deboss.
Yeah, like you're making a mark.
Mm-hmm. What about? Has anybody ever played with any kind of like foil stamps or metallic ink? Like my business card?
Ooh, I like the eye.
That's cool. That's what I want to know, how they print like that.
Okay.
I've never. I mean, I should have looked at a video, but I just haven't.
This one's easy. Just go to what is it? What's the company called? Moo. Moo does cool business cards.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just
What,
MOO.
I believe so. Yeah, they're cheap too.
Hmm.
Is this Moo? I think this is Moo. Shoot, all the logos are on. Yeah, Moo. MOO.
Like the noise a cow makes.
Yep, exactly. I don't know why they did that, but that's why they did it. Okay. So some production techniques I think would be interesting. Right now I'm working with a client. We're doing a varnish overlay on one of their print pieces. Everybody knows what I mean when I talk about varnish?
Yes. It makes it all glossy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just in one part, right? So everything else is kind of matte. We'll talk about that, like what's the difference between a matte and glossy finish. We'll talk
Matte
about
is all
paper
smooth.
stock. Matte is kind of smooth, but it's not glossy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got uncoated paper that's really kind of, it's almost like, you know, just a blank piece of paper. Why do you think they put finishes on paper?
Make them last longer.
And also to where, have you ever noticed like when you've got a really rough piece of paper, your pen kind of bleeds out when you write on it? And then if you're writing on a glossy piece of paper, it's really crisp.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. Okay, so I think we're gonna do like a little production techniques thing. I need to do a video on CMYK, the whole process, so you can kind of see that. So what I'll do is we'll just do like little in-class little demonstrations. I'll see if I can find some videos on this stuff, which I'm sure they're everywhere. But really where I kind of differ, what differentiates me as a teacher from most, I believe, is I like to focus on concept. What's concept?
Ideas.
An idea.
The idea, right? Why do you think I think it's important to have a good concept?
Because
That's where design is.
if it's not a good concept, it won't be a good design.
Right, it all goes back to what we're studying. What are we studying?
Design for print.
Zoom out a little bit more. What's the name of the program?
Visual
Photoshop.
communications.
Visual communications, right? If we don't communicate and we don't say anything, who's going to read it?
No one.
Right? The way that I teach is our main job is to make something interesting first. I think so many graphic designers just apply, at least on my team, what I yell at my designers for the most is they don't think about things. They try to apply this pretty patina of graphic design on boring ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes for like, nobody cares. It just makes for more, anybody ever, you get like, it's like 90% of the mail you get. Who reads 90% of their mail?
Nobody.
It doesn't even make the first filter, does it? Marketing, this is crap. You can tell it a mile away. Oh, they're just trying to get me to buy something. Oh, you can always tell the sales materials really quickly, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're using the same techniques.
They don't think about it.
We're all trained to sniff it out, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Like our BS meter is very sensitive. You know, we've had years of practice. It's just like even in television. It's like, who watches regular TV anymore? Why do you think Netflix and Hulu has come up? Why are Netflix and Hulu and all these subscription services killing it right now? What are they working around?
They want.
Hmm?
Working around what people want.
And what don't people want?
Advertisements.
There we go. There we go. They're an interruption. Like we've been trained to think that they're an interruption. They're kind of a pain in the butt. How many people How many of you, when you see an ad, like especially on YouTube or one of these subscription things, start clicking that skip button before it's time?
Me.
Right? It's like, oh my God, nobody likes it. So here's the deal. There's two ways you can say, don't work in advertising, which is going to be hard. Or what if we approach advertising differently? Instead of asking something from someone, let's offer them a gift. That's where concept comes into play. Making things interesting and worthy of someone's time. Right? And also worthy of your time to make it. And then we start talking about effect. That becomes effective communication. Right? Effective communication. I have a whole thing that I can teach, but there's probably not room in this class for it. But it's kind of like the difference between basically how to think as a graphic designer. And everything that I do will kind of move that in, but we'll kind of like talk about that. But for the most part, concept is king. Because anymore, like I would say, just talking about, like, let's just talk about a Netflix series for a minute, right? Let's take it in that vein. There are tons of things that are well produced, right? But there's only a few things that catch on. Why?
They're boring.
Not the ones that catch on.
The ones that catch on are the best, yeah, because they're interesting and they keep you.
The concept is very important, right? So we're going to work some concepting into this. Okay, I think I kind of know what's going on. I think I've taken everybody's pulse. What kinds of things do you guys want to make? Like, I usually try and have between like 4 or 5 assignments per class.
Cool things.
Cool thing. What's a cool thing?
Like products that we want to print out eventually.
What kind of design projects do you want to do? And I'm going to make myself
Illustration.
comfortable. I'm going to illustration.
That's
I
after
would
the
like to
course.
know how to make something that comes in a box, like how to
Ooh.
design a box.
Yeah, like packaging.
Yeah, packaging. Sorry.
Oh, here's my dog.
Oh, baby.
He doesn't like being on. As soon as you put this guy in front of a camera, he like knows. He's like, He's like looking so
My
cute.
dog's camera shy too.
He's like, looks so cute. And the moment I want to put him on Instagram, he's like, nope, not going to work. Okay, so something with a box.
Oh, like soda cans.
I don't have one around me, but well, okay. Here's an example. Like dimensions and like exactly how this is made in InDesign and something like that.
Okay, well that's easy. That's just a box.
Perfect.
We'll start by maybe a quick assignment to make a box because those are easy. Does everybody have like? Wait, let me finish this statement and we'll go. Hold on. How many of you guys have a pad of Bristol board? You guys know what that is?
Like
Yeah.
the Bristol.
That's like I do.
paint paper or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do an assignment. I'm taking notes here. We'll do an assignment. We'll make an easy box.
Ooh.
Wait, the big pieces of paper. I just have the notepad.
How big is the notepad?
It's like 8 by 10 or 11 by 17.
Okay, you can make a small box.
Okay.
That's fine. Like 11 by 17. I don't see us getting like for such a rudimentary thing like that kind of box. You don't have to like make a huge one. For a product like a packaging assignment, I'm gonna want it probably be a little bit more crazy and cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Okay.
I'll show you. Oh, let me show you. So I kind of like this format of teaching. This is my first Zoom class, but it's kind of cool because I can show you stuff really easily instead of dealing with projectors and stuff. So I'm going to show you. Did anybody have a chance to go to my site?
No, yeah.
No? Okay. Well, I'm going to show it to you because I'll show you just a few things that previous students of mine have done. I've got to share my screen. Okay. Get rid of this Zoom window. I don't want to leave.
Oh.
Okay, everybody see my site?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think I've seen that poster to the right. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
Okay, so let's give it a minute to load. Of course, my internet's going to be slow when I'm trying to do this. So here's something like I also have like a student gallery where I show off student work because I'm actually proud of the work that my students make. Here's some packaging for Jewel, like one of these. And here's like ads and billboards. And this is kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to concept. It's like, does this look like an advertisement? And it's funny, I was teaching at NOSI and my students were coming up with this stuff and their design chair was like, I don't even know what this stuff is supposed to be. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's packaging. This is an ad. Like this would stop me on the street if I saw this. You know, these are stuff. So we made boxes before. This is some experimental Jewel stuff. We mock it up to make it look good. You know, we can, I'm sure you guys know how to do that, but if you don't, here's some like cigar branding. And I think they did a package too. This is just computerized mock-up. Actually, I can show you how to mock up things for real. Like really the best way to do it for your portfolio is to build things in real life, print them out, construct them, and then take a picture. Like have a nice photographer take pictures. Because then you can make, like once you start working in the real world, like here's a student show that we did for, I used to teach the senior portfolio at Watkins. And we made kind of like, with just simple, this is all in camera. We didn't do any touch up to any of this. But we did like just a little promo for their senior design show. I wish you could hear the video.
No, I think we can.
I can hear it.
So we had an awesome time like making this. We spent a whole day in the studio at Watkins shooting this. I used a friend of mine as the photographer and we shot it and played around and just, oops, come on. Why does it do that? That's one thing, technology will always frustrate me. And then we printed like a nice screen printed poster for it. And then we also did more of a digital ad for it. And this one, all the materials and stuff won a Graphice Gold. You guys know what Graphice is?
No.
It's a worldwide kind of like graphic design and advertising kind of annual that they put together. And once a year they do a student annual. So we, through the student work, the senior show, we got a couple of back-to-back Graphice Golds. Here's the first one for, this is the stuff that we did for the senior show a couple years ago. I called work because they weren't working. So I was like, your show is going to be called work because that's what y'all need to do. And we ended up making this cool, like 30-foot wrench out of foam core, fluorescent orange.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool. And here's the poster. Those materials also won, here's another one of the poster. These materials also won a Graphice Gold. How do we get out of there? How do we get out of this? Help me. There we go. And then here's an independent study I did with Allie. She's a student of mine at Watkins. So her packaging, you know, she did like a Criterion. Everybody ever heard of Criterion? It's like they got their own network now, but they release like these really artistic films and stuff. So she did like this 60s French stuff where she did like a poster and a series of DVD or Blu-ray cases. And then we did like, we actually tried this in my intro to design, didn't we? We redesigned Tao Magazine last year, was that it?
Yeah.
So here's some stuff. I need to put your stuff on there up here because it was really nice. So here's some print stuff. Book covers, you mentioned book covers. I've done tons of book covers. This guy actually took books of the Bible and made them into book covers, which I thought was really cool. Here's one. I forget. Is anybody familiar with this series of books? Requiem, Pandemonium, and Delirium. Anybody know that one? Anyway, here's like another one. These were good. So all these, in fact, all the work that I'm showing you won Addy Awards and graphitis and a bunch of stuff. So and here's some stuff we were doing for O'More when I worked there. And we did a bunch of album design. That might be something we can do. We did an album design and intro, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So you're already familiar with my trick. I asked them what they wanted to design, like what the artist was and what the album was. And then I had them put them in a hat and swap them. I remember we got some really cool ones. We had a Slayer, no, it was a Metallica and was it Katy Perry, Taylor Swift mashup? That was really nice.
He killed that.
He really did.
He did. W's was nice too. I don't remember what he did, but W's was turned out real nice.
Which one was that? Who's that? Oh, I remember W. Okay. I don't remember his mashup though. Now here's some app stuff. And then logo and branding. Anybody been to Plaza? I had a student redesign their stuff. Copies. But anyway. So what I'd like to do is I'd like for you guys to create more work that I can put on my website.
Simple, easy, okay.
Yeah.
So what we can do is, let's see. So I think we're going to do a packaging project. I think maybe like, because we'll design in kind of 3 dimensions here. And then I think large format is always fun. You guys want to do a poster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the one you'll see, like maybe one day, if my house was cleaner, maybe it's clean enough, I could give you a poster tour of all the cool posters that I have hanging up. The one that you see behind me that says Art is a Subway poster from maybe 1995 for the School of Visual Arts. My mentor, James Victoria, designed that one. And I've got a bunch. I've also got a bunch. I've got a bunch of his work hanging up, all of which also hangs in the MoMA, which is cool.
So when we do these designs, we're actually really going to print them out too, right? We're going to make them real.
Well, I would like to. We're kind of up against some problems with that because of COVID. Like, I would like to show you, like, I think we're supposed to meet at school a couple of times. I would like to show you how to tile. Do you guys know what tiling is?
Is it like repeating a pattern?
Kind of.
No, it's essentially, say you do a large 36 by whatever poster. So when you print it on 8.5 by 11, like InDesign cuts it up to where it's tiled. So when you trim the papers just right and tape them all back together, you have a 36
we've done that before.
Something
Like a puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's how you can like print large format without having a large format printer. So large finished piece is going to be hard to pull off. Plus it's expensive, but a way to kind of see it live and alive and large is to tile it. Like, I don't know if you guys were in school last semester, right? Remember that one room where it had a bunch of my design for print? We hung the posters up. You remember seeing a bunch of weird posters in one classroom?
I
Yeah.
do remember that.
It
They're
would
all
have been
taped
2
together.
semesters ago, but yeah.
Yeah, they're all
The Club and Sills, I love that poster.
The Club and Sills, yeah.
The Club and Sills was amazing.
That was hilarious, yeah. So yeah, I'll show you how to do that. And then, you know, if you want to print in large format, you can certainly do so. But like at Portfolio Center, where I went to school, we were required to actually print the large piece for. We had, the way it worked there was our teachers didn't give us our grade. They brought in a panel of like professionals that would come in and they would critique the work and give you your final grade. Which I actually prefer, because it's really hard for me like to coach you and give you a final grade at the end. So I think maybe we should do a poster, a packaging project, And then I also did a long format book. And for them, I think it could be a coffee table book about whatever you want. Like for that class, it was for like an artist or a band, but I think we should just open it up. So if you like ranch homes or container homes or whatever you're into, I think we should do maybe a coffee table book.
Do you have to write the book, or do you just design the cover?
Well, for that, like we'd have to come up with content like that. For them, the strategy was I told them it had the requirement had to be a long interview with said band or person type set, and then maybe a some kind of chronological listing of their albums and maybe a biography of this thing. So I think it should be, depends on your, like if I open it up to where it could be anything, you should probably try and find at least a large section of text to throw in, because the whole point is this thing, it needs to be like 60 to 100 pages, right? And I can actually show you how to like bind a book. I know how to bind books.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that.
And that would be really, but it's really great because, you know, teaching you that, they make them the same way. You just have to put it in signatures, and I can explain it all to you. But yeah, I've made several books. Like my skills are probably, I haven't used them in a while, but here, hang on, let me show you. So these aren't really super nice because these are just examples, but like I make my sketchbooks I make by hand. So you know, I call them junk books because I make it out of stuff I can find.
Oh, I've heard of those.
But the binding is cool, and I just usually steal some paper from wherever I'm teaching at the time. And but yeah, so it's all like this is all bound nicely. You got stuff falling out. Here's one that I took just pages out of an airplane making book, you know, like from the, and then you can bind them. But once you learn how to bind a book, you know how to make it, right? You know how to design it. So we might work with that. This is actually one of my favorites. It's so old now. I was in New York when I did this. It's funny. Okay, so, and I think a long format book. Why do you think a long format book is important?
Because they have a spine. They can.
They have a lot of things that we need to account for. Plus, it's like, who's worked with a long body of text?
A little bit.
Kind of.
Takes a certain, like, there's a certain mindset when you approach it.
Yeah.
Like I designed, hang on. That's what I like about teaching from home. I can just go to my bookshelf and grab stuff. Hang on, I'm coming back. It's gonna take me a minute. Okay. So this one I designed when I was in New York for this woman named Lee Adelcourt. She's like a fashion and kind of like overall industry forecaster for trends. And she used to put together art shows too. So she hired my studio to put together like a brand for their art show that was touring Europe, and it was called Pop-Up Generation. And so then, you know, just the whole thought process of how we work with typography over a long format. Now this one, I decided to like, we put these little icons that meant stuff. And then I actually separated, she wanted all the copy to be with the imagery, and I was like, that's boring. And then she also sent me like a bunch of different sized images. So I was like, I'm just gonna run them the size that you give me. And so like when they're small, I can do this tile thing. When they're big, I just have them fill the slice. I just threw them in at 100% no matter what size they were. and made it work. And so you have like these really cool parts of like these large photographs. And then like if one wasn't big enough to fill the space, I just repeated it. And then what else? There's really cool parts to where when it was too big for the page, or say like this one works here nicely, it works here nicely, and then this one gets cut off, I just ran the rest of it over here on the other page, which I thought was pretty cool. I like it. It makes for a really interesting set of designs.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved it. Like here again, it was small, so I tiled it, made a little pattern over it again. Just really worked out to be very interesting. And then I put all the copy. If you look at it, it kind of makes like an ice cream sandwich. So on the inside, that was all the copy bits.
Oh,
This is all the writing that I put in the middle. And then, you know, the rest is imagery. So this is an art book. Like you're free to do something like this if you want. But I think, you know, something large format. How long was this? It was, I don't know, the page count. That's the one problem with my design solution is the page count. I have no idea. How many pages do you think this book is?
Like 100.
Probably more than 100. It's probably like 2.
Yeah.
But I think for us, we need to like at least do like a 60 to 100 page count, so that we're kind of working with a lot of typography and figuring out some interesting things. And I can teach you about pacing, how to pace a book, how to make it interesting. And here's like a little designer pal. Like if you know how to make books, you can make your own book for like little portfolio stuff. Like this is all her drawings and things in here. So books are, I love books. I think they're great. So much fun. So I think at least 3 with probably some, we'll just call them exercises, which will be like short. I think a long format book's going to take some time to put together. I think getting a poster right, posters are always takes time. Here's a cool one from my mentor, James. He did one. This one hangs in the MoMA, but it's a champagne poster.
Oh, nice.
Right, and then here's that work one. So I got like, I can't frame them all because they're so expensive, but there's that work one, and here's one we did for the 99U, and then here's one we released for us. Advertisers think you're stupid.
It's so funny to see everyone tilt their head.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's settled. We can totally do a packaging 3D. We'll do packaging and I'll show you how to build it. That's going to take a little bit of work because we're going to have to figure out, like we're going to have to be in the same room so that I can show you how to do this. I guess I could do it in front of, but it's better to like be in the same room when you guys are actually doing it. So let's take a look. Let me make sure I got this pulled up. Okay, here it is. How did I get to the syllabus? I got to the syllabus a while ago. Earlier today. There it is. Okay. Does everybody know how to use the Nashville State internet stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So I put you on the home page, I put you a handy dandy little Zoom link. This should work throughout the whole semester. If it doesn't, please let me know. It looks like we're scheduled to be on campus September 9th, September 30th, and October 21st. So I think right now I'm going to decide we're going to do a tiling exercise on the 9th. Because we'll probably do posters first. September 30th, we'll build a box. And October, I'll do a bookmaking demonstration. How's that? Does that sound good?
Mhm.
So write this down. So I'll probably repeat it again, but write this down. So on September 9th, you'll just need to be able to print on campus. So does everybody have that worked out? Everybody know how to do that?
Yeah.
Good answer, because I do not. For the September 30th class, come to class with like 3 to 5 11x7 sheets of Bristol board, and you'll need a ruler, an X-Acto knife, and a pencil. And then in October 21, we'll talk about that. Remind me, Jeff, will you remind me to talk about supplies when we get closer to that? Because we're going to need some of that chipboard. We'll need something to cover a book, and we'll need text. We'll need text sheets already folded so that we can go ahead and put those things together.
The October.
Yeah, the
class?
October 21st. If you just remind me like 2 classes before, and I'll try and put it on my calendar too, just so I remember.
Okay, thanks for putting that on me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hey man, we're a team. Okay, let's see. So let's go over the syllabus real quick. Let's see, how do I look at the syllabus? Let's click on it. Maybe it's this right here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of a crappy format, but we'll make it work. We'll go full screen. All right, everybody see what I'm showing here?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, topics include creative aspects. I need to move this out of the way. Can I move it up here? Yep. Topics include the creative aspects of design and production of applied art for visual communication, stressing the importance of concept. Ooh, I already touched on that. Type and graphics in practical applications. Cool, I guess everybody's done all these. These are just numbers to me, but.
Yeah.
Textbooks. So there's a student LinkedIn Learning subscription provided by NSCC.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys successfully get on that and have done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Linda. Remember, there used to be this thing called Linda. I think LinkedIn's doing it now. I think they bought them out.
Yeah, they got bought.
Who's familiar with Print magazine? Anybody?
I've seen it before.
I've seen a few issues.
Cool. I did a cover for them once, but not for communication arts. I haven't worked with communication arts. And I don't know what before and after magazine is, but maybe it's one, I don't know. I don't know that one. But yeah, I would start like, we're doing design for print. So start filling your brain up with nice print materials, right? Kind of start, I think right now, let's consider we're doing like, I want a mood board at least for next class. Why don't you either create a Pinterest board or some way of displaying a collection of 20 really nice printed design pieces. So I need you to start filling your brain up. I say this all the time. As a student, you're only as good as what you're looking at. The time to look and copy is during school, honestly. Now, we don't want to plagiarize, but I want you looking at things to get inspiration of and even trying to emulate, because it's very important. Once you get out of school and you have like some experience, then you start to kind of branch out and find your inspiration elsewhere. But for right now, you need to be looking at other graphic design.
So just a question here, the Pinterest or mood board, you want other things that have been designed or our own work?
No, I want other things.
There you go.
Like
Okay.
great examples of graphic design. Because that's another where I teach. I find that a lot of students need help in developing a level of taste, right? It's just a matter, like all this exercise is we need to expose you to the very best. So look for the very best and the very interesting things that you like.
I want to ask you something about, about trends in graphic design. Because I know, like I'm older too, so like over the different decades, I've seen like different things that are considered wonderful at one period of time and then not in another period of time. So when you teach, can you go over like the different trends, even though as a designer, I know you don't always want to be doing what everybody else is doing, but there still are always trends, the way that people apply things and do things.
My overall thing is very simply, if you want to make work that's dated, follow trends. If you want to be ahead of the curve, do the opposite of trends. Look at the trend and do the opposite, right? So, but yeah, we can discuss that. In fact, maybe for, because I don't know all of them, like there's so many now, like trends are starting to like diverge, and what's weird is it's like there is certainly trends, right? But also there's, because of the internet and access to seeing so much more, there's like multiple things happening all at once now. So I'm going to write down for week 2. I'm going to, guys, have you put together a mood of just current trends of what you think is going on. And I'll happily chime in. Like vaporwave. Anybody ever heard of vaporwave?
Nope. Yes.
So that's, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What's vaporwave?
It's like 80s surrealism,
Yeah.
90s too, I think maybe.
Oh yeah, it's just like it's like that totally 80s laser grid kind of cool type with like neon colors.
Oh.
Like I just did a job. I sold a college on vaporwave. Just because I wanted to do something fun, you know what I mean? And I thought it was a good fit for them. Students are required to watch video tutorials on LinkedIn Learning. So there you go. Get on there and look. I would like to, honestly, for the most part, I can help you with software. That's no problem. But I would love it if you guys primarily did software. Like there's tons of YouTube videos and LinkedIn things that can help you with software. One thing that's not accessible is what I can help you with is thinking and concept. Like I just went through this whole thing of trying to find somebody to hire recently, and nobody knows how to think. Nobody knows how to concept. And that's what I'd like to instill in you. If you can concept and you can think, you'll be 10 times more employable than what's out there right now, I promise you. Okay, open computer lab, that stuff. Supplies. I'm not sure you're going to need all this. Like, I'm assuming that everybody has an X-Acto, yes?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you'd need a flash drive, but sure. Tracing paper, you will need. I will do an assignment about grids. I think I did it with intro, but we'll probably do it again. So you will need only a few. You won't need a whole pad for me. Maybe if you have other classes that need it. But a 9x12 piece, couple pieces of tracing paper would be great.
Stamps.
To mock things up, you will need some glue, X-Acto, a ruler. Ooh, yarn string or ribbon to bind a book. I didn't even know this was in here, and they're already there. Wow, cool. Simpatico. I don't think you'll need India ink. You're definitely not going to need color pencils or markers unless you choose to make a piece, want to make that part of your design. It's like, oh, I want to actually illustrate this and color it by hand or marker. Some spray mounts, always good. You'll use that for other classes, I'm sure. Yeah, you'll need a cutting mat. Does everybody have a cutting mat?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't think you'll need oil pastels. But yeah, you will need this clay board, I think. If it's the chipboard stuff that I'm talking about, we'll need it to bind books. You won't need a lino block, carving tools. I don't think I'm going to do like a... Are you guys interested in doing some like block print?
That's like it's like you carve out the shape of it, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
You want to do that? Okay. You don't actually have to have a lino block. You can get some linoleum. But yeah, carving tools will help. I don't know. Maybe if you guys went in, like each of you will have to like. We'll do that. We'll do a wood block print. That'd be fun. Okay, let's talk about outcomes. Upon successful completion of the course, students should be able to identify and apply terminology specific to layout, design, and production for class projects, which upon completion will be critiqued and assessed as an overall effectiveness based on concept research following instructions and strength and design. Ooh, what does that mean? So really, you know, you guys, I'm going to teach you terminology like how to talk and sound intelligent about to printers and to other design professionals, so you sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm also going to teach you my way of critiquing. I think Jeff and Matthew probably already know, but is my way of critiquing a lot different than what you're doing in other classes, Jeff? Do you remember?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Since I took your class, I've only taken maybe one or two others, and I know Beth has sort of gone in, kind of taken on an aspect that reminds me a lot of how we did critiques in your class.
Cool. Nice. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to teach about concept and talk about research. I'm assuming you guys already know how to follow instructions. And then, you know, strength of design, we'll learn how to evaluate. We're going to demonstrate and apply the knowledge of mechanical production of class projects. Yep. Appropriate software programs for the action necessary to create finished art. We've already touched on that. Photoshop is for image use and anything that's continuous tone, right? Illustrator is for vector work. So if we need to make logos and things like that, or big vector illustrations for stuff. And then InDesign brings that all together with typography so we can make these production pieces. Like InDesign is the best way. It's got the most printer-friendly tools. It's really the best way to prepare anything going to print. We're going to create and apply unique type decisions in design projects through research and current typography trends. We'll demonstrate the ability to create strong designs by arranging the different elements within a project according to the principles of design. So, some of you weren't in my intro class, and this will be a good refresher for the ones. I want to see how good I did teaching. What are the 5 Gestalt principles?
Oh, geez.
Who knows them?
The 5 what?
5 Gestalt design principles.
I did not learn that in my intro class.
Is that where you had like the pattern, repetition, there was
similarity,
like yeah,
proximity,
yeah,
continuation, closure, and one more.
What's the last one? Matthew, you know it?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Figure ground.
There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, I'm a good teacher. It's been a year since you probably delved into that. So yeah, we can go back over that if you guys aren't familiar with it. It's kind of like some develop strong concepts. Ooh, they're setting the bar high. And strategy for project type by effectively generating a specific response or action to work by audience client, which is evaluated through critiquing sessions by instructor and students. course competency, explore the process and procedures involved in developing projects. Okay, so basically the way I want you to work is we're going to be working on thumbnails. What's a thumbnail?
Small drawing of your concept.
Yes.
Why do we work that way?
So you don't forget your concept.
So you don't forget it. What else?
Because
What's
they
the main
are
reason?
concepts.
What's the main reason why we work that way?
So we have a building block to work off of.
A blueprint.
So, well, I think to get to a good place in concept, we need to explore multiples, right?
Yeah.
And the best way to kind of work through thinking is thumbnailing. And so we do. How many thumbnails do you think we do for a concept?
A lot.
30, 40.
As many as needed.
Hundreds.
I had that's somebody. I heard the best answer: as many as it takes to get somewhere good. Right.
Mhm.
So if you get to be really good at concepting, maybe you only have to do 3. But when you're not so good at concepting, where do you think you start? A lot. Usually I ask for 100. I don't know if I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to ask for 100 on this one. But I think what we need to do is talk about it. So the way I'm going to take you through this process is we're going to work on thumbnails. We're going to do a lot of them. All my students whine because they do a lot. Why do you think I want you to do a lot of thumbnails?
Can explore a lot.
I want you to get in the habit. I want you to start. Thumbnails are a great way to start training your brain on how to think creatively. Because in a meeting, when you're off working in the professional setting, I want you to be in a meeting with your boss or client and be able to go, how about this? 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 Right? And be able to come up with a ton of ideas on the fly. How do you get yourself to where you can come up with a ton of ideas on the fly? You have to practice. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. The only way to be good at this job is experience. I think I told you this in the email. There's no way around it. You have to do it. To get good at concepting, you have to do it, and to do it over and over and over again. I got a good friend of mine. He's a illustrator and designer. He works for Adult Swim, and as I was working out the process on my teams, I was like, man, like, you just can't rush concepting. There's a lot of aspects of this job that you can rush. You cannot rush concepting. You have to do the work of concepting. There's no way around it. So we're going to work out concepts in the thumbnail version, and then we're going to go into a rough layout, and then we'll build a mechanical. That's how we're going to do this. We're going to present work. We're going to understand the value of time management. We're going to understand the elements of design. We're going to explain the concept and strategy behind design projects. That's another thing I want to work with you guys on. I present a lot of work. Some of my designers can't present to a client, and it holds them back in their career because they can't articulate and explain why they did something and sound intelligent about it. You just have to. It's part of the job. It's easy to make good work. I mean, it's hard. The first step is getting yourself to make good work. But even harder than making good work is selling it. You have to understand how to articulate and sell your work. And that's part of explaining the concept and strategy behind their design projects. We're going to identify the types of fonts used in projects. That's one thing I want you to know. Like, as a designer, if I come to you and I look like as your boss and I come to you and I say, you're showing me a piece, I'm like, what type is that? What font? And like, I want you to be able to know it. This is it. Its size, and I want you to know the size of it. Because that's just the thing. It's like, my goal is to make you a good designer and also to make you employable. we're going to produce work that reflects good concepts. So where do we start? We got to start with concepts. Understand this. And I didn't write any of this. I'm actually reading this for the first time right now. We're going to understand design terminology. Yep. We're going to demonstrate ability to read and understand instructions. That's funny that that's the one that's written weirdly. Produce work within deadlines. That's going to be tough. Like, you guys are in school, but we got to stick to deadlines. So I usually don't make a big deal about that, but I've noticed my last class at Nashville Tech, everybody was late on everything. It took forever, and we didn't even get a chance to really work on packaging last time. So let's make a commitment that we're going to stick to this stuff and really work. I'll let you guys read the rest of that. It's kind of boring. Stressing the importance of type and production for print. Yep. Okay, let's talk about this. They want 60% in projects, 20% in art journal. And what these little assignments for Pinterest and things, let's just consider that art journal. And then I don't know if we're going to do a final project. I mean, I've got 3. So maybe let's do this. Maybe if everybody runs on time, we'll work on the 3, and then for the final project, you'll take your best one and revise it and make it better. How's that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds fair.
Okay. A grade of C or above must be earned. Late work, I'll have to read this because I don't know what their policy is. There are no makeup exams or projects accepted past the due dates unless a doctor's excuse is provided. That's funny. You know what? I remember that now. I think this policy was the same as when I was in school, and I got really good at forging doctor's notes. I would go to Kinko's and just fake them. That's funny. Hey, you know, I deserved extra credit because I was using my design skills. Okay, communication statement. In this time of uncertainty due to COVID-19, communication between student and faculty is key. Yes, it is. At times, situations arise for one or both to make communication difficult or delayed. This can include, hey, so what I was thinking, and it's kind of I was thinking maybe we could start a Slack channel. Does anybody work on Slack?
No.
Done that before?
No.
Never did.
I do.
Never heard of it.
Nobody's into that. Who's into that?
It's just like a messaging forum where you, I did it on a job once where you could communicate with everybody that worked for the company.
Yeah, it's super convenient. I like it.
Do you? Okay, great. So I'm going to start a Slack channel, and I'll send you guys an invite probably by, I'll make a news item or something. And so you guys get on it, and that way we can have a class Slack so that you guys can share work. Like, I cannot participate in outside of class time because that can get way out of control for like chiming in on stuff. But it would be good for like you guys to kind of collaborate. And if I have any like important messages like, hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes late to class or whatever, I can communicate with you via Slack. I think that'd be a good way to do it. Attendance policy. Here's my thing. 90% of what you're going to learn in class from me is going to be in class time. Like, things come up, students have like in critiques, like I do most of my teaching in critiques and through demonstrations. And that's where you're going to get the meat of a class with me. So please, if you want your money's worth out of this class, be in class. That's really all I have to say. Because there's so many things, like I teach from the perspective that the right things always come up every time, and they kind of do. So like a student's going to ask a question, or somebody's going to make a mistake. And what I do is, and Jeff and Matthew will be able to tell you, is like I will make a point to address the mistake. And like I don't try and call anybody out, but I will say, hey, this is a common thing I see most of you guys doing. Let's talk about it. Or this is something like, first of all, there's no mistake you can make that I've never seen before. If you do, that would be awesome. But for the most part, like, this is learning. You learn by doing, you learn by failing, you learn by like basically showing up. So show up. And then here, letter grades. Okay, great. So that's kind of the syllabus. Those are the things we're going to go over. Like I said, we've got, move this thing so I can unshare. We got a lot to cover in this class, so be here. And what did I assign? I assigned, let's talk about next class. And I don't know if they're going to go 3 hours. Like a 3-hour Zoom meeting is a long time. So like, I'm probably saying probably for tonight, we'll go another like 15, 20, and we'll probably call it a night.
Oh, good.
But I need to talk to you about a few things. Like next week, I want a Pinterest or some kind of mood board that you can share over Zoom so that we can talk about the pieces. And those pieces are like 20 to 30, the highest echelon kind of graphic design, really awesome stuff that's on your radar or that you can find. Where do you look for stuff like this?
Pinterest?
Pinterest is a great place for it. Where else?
I like Creative Market.
Okay, creative. I haven't heard of that, but sure. What else?
I follow a lot of people on Instagram.
There you go. Instagram's a great place. Behance can be good. Like, it's gotten kind of crappy, but there are still good examples. Design annuals. You guys can even, like I said, Graphis before. So GRPHIS, you can go to Graphis and look at that stuff. Communication Arts, I still think they have stuff there. So I want 20 to 30, like, this is the kind of graphic designer I want to be kind of stuff, right? These are my dream aspirations kinds of things. And then let's talk about, we got to get started on this poster. So usually I try and do three posters that all have to work in the together, like as a triptych. Like they don't have to make, like all three put together they can make a big scene and kind of complete each other, but they need to kind of have, like, they just need to belong together, like a set of 3. And usually I do.
They need to have the same theme?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, usually I do a social issues poster, but this is an election year. Last time I taught at Watkins, it was an election year. So if we do election posters, can I get everybody's commitment to not get all butthurt political at each other for not having the same views? Can we do that? Good. All right. If we're on board, let's do some political posters. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. It doesn't matter if they're Trump or shoot, why can't Biden, right? What we're working together towards is to make a moving political poster. Ooh, and I got stuff. I did one for, I wanted Bernie Sanders to win last time. So I'll show you what I did. And I actually got Graphic Design USA, and I believe Fast Company picked this up. I was just doing this on Instagram, and they, of course I sent it to them, but luckily they kind of gave me some props for it. But hang on, let me pull it up real quick. Good God. So here it is. I did a Write Bernie In campaign because he didn't win the DNC, you know, he was out, and I didn't like Hillary or Trump. So I did these. And so we can, these would be like, what we want to do is like, let's see here. So it's like, This one's one of my favorite. Let's show these turds who's running things. I like that one. You know, nope. That one's kind of cheesy, but I left it in there. I like this one too. Vote out corporate taskmasters. This one was my favorite though. Golden bombs. Like it hasn't happened yet, but it's just hilarious. But yeah, so the place to voice your political opinion is in the poster, not in the class. How's that? Can we make that agreement? It's all about helping each other make it. Someone's, for whoever, is making the best poster possible. And I wish I had one, like one of my students at Watkins, she did, you know how it says like the name Donald Trump, and she asterisked out every other letter except for D-O-N-T. So it said don't. It was cool. So yeah, so I think what we'll do is, this is easy. Instead of just general social issue, let's do political posters for your favorite candidate. And so next week, what I'd like to see are, and in fact, what I did for their class was I had them do a paper on how the news media gets its money. And I think this will be an interesting, at least, point of conversation. How does the news media make money?
Ads.
Advertising.
Advertising. So and what I did was I actually had them go and look at a specific just item and read how both sides portrayed it, like CNN and Fox. Well, very interesting for all the like, very early on, the kind of like protests back in May, you know, after for all like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff. Did you notice a difference? Like, I don't know if you guys watch CNN or Fox, but if I watched both of those coverage, and what I noticed was during the rallies and stuff, especially when it was still kind of volatile and places were kind of, you know, having kind of looting and rioting and things. What I found interesting was CNN positioned their cameras on the side of the protesters, and Fox had most of their cameras set up behind the police, which was really weird. But all that being said, let's try and do an election poster without getting mad at each other, because we're all a group. Doesn't matter what we think. We all have a right to think whatever we want. Let's make posters. So let's do that, and let's say 50 thumbnails for these posters. And I'd like for them to be 3, but let's just keep it simple. Let's just do one poster. If you guys come up with a concept that's easily moves into 3, maybe we can do that, but let's just keep it simple. We'll just do one election poster. And with that, we're going to do 50 thumbnails. Have those ready, so we have to be able to see them. How are you guys doing this in class? This is the first Zoom class, so I don't know how to look at Zoom, how to look at thumbnails in Zoom. How are we doing this?
We've been just sharing screen, or we tried doing Dropbox, but it was kind of a problem. The
Okay,
Dropbox didn't work that great.
Just like upload a photo of it and share your screen.
Yeah, I think I want you working on paper, or if you have like an iPad, something that you can actually draw with a smart pencil or whatever, you can do that. But outside of that, I want these things to be sketches. Don't get into the computer yet. I'd like to see 50 legitimate thumbnails where you're actually working on paper, or like just an easy means where basically you're just, you know, sketching this stuff out. How much detail do we put in a thumbnail?
Barely, just like
To get
lines.
the idea.
Just get the idea across. That's it. And be able to talk about it. And what we'll do is we'll go through next class, we'll go through the thumbs, and we'll talk about the concepts. And then we'll also look at why don't we do this? instead of that, I'm rewriting the 20 to 30 pieces. I want 20 to 30 good examples of posters. Let's form it. Let's focus it a little more. Does that make sense?
Okay. That makes
20 examples of good posters. And, you know, feel free to like look at historical posters, right? Historical good posters like The And Babies by M & Co. Or Pushpin look up M & Co. Look at Pushpin Studios. Look at, you know, you got Shepard Fairey did that Obama one, right? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Shepard Fairey is? Who else has done? But, you know, look throughout history as far as like moving graphic design posters. Like Richard Chamberlain, I think, made some good ones. Pierre Bernard. Who else? You can look at my mentor, James Victore. Here, while I'm here, hang on. Okay, so this is a good example of print design. Oh, this is so fun teaching from my house. I can think of it, I can just pull it out. So this is a monograph we did. It was my first assignment when I'm working with him. I art directed this book. Paul Sayre designed it. What does art direction mean, guys?
You're like the head honcho.
Well,
You're not like designing as much as you are directing the design.
Exactly. I'm telling them what I want it to feel like. I'm telling them what it looks like, and then I'm judging the work based on those things and coaching the designer. Although the designer I worked with this didn't need coaching at all. His name's Paul Sayre. But anyway, so here's a book design where the dust jacket opens up to be a poster. I don't really have room enough to open it up, but it makes this big poster. It's called Who Died and Made You Boss. We did all the titles that we came up with but didn't use. We used like this and put in the book. So there's a bunch of cool stuff. And then the whole thing is black on black. I told Paul, I said, I want it to be Darth Vader in pink lingerie. So that's what we got. We got black on black with a little pink ribbon. But here's some political posters. This one, it's more social issue. I don't think they're for like, but this shows you a good one. Look. Right? This one's in the MoMA. This one's for the death penalty. Right? Very contemporary, very like, let's see, what else? Ooh, this one. Look, social issue. Celebrate Columbus. Right? He hung that up all over New York. What else? There's another one in here that's really good. Where is it? Oh, here you go. Use a condom. This one's in the MoMA. But I'm just showing you this to like show you like good examples of visual communication. They don't always have to be serious. Right? Where's the death penalty mocks justice? This is one of my favorites. I forget where it is. But with, you know, this is a good example of book design. It's cool because the type. I mean, look at this whole page of type. It's funny, artwork moves one way, the type's always this way. Or this way. Having trouble because my videos feed is backwards. Let's see. There's one particular one that I'm really wanting to show you, and I don't know why I can't find it. It should be in here with these other ones. Here it is. Death penalty mocks justice. Now, probably as next class, I'll probably take some of these posters and break them down. What makes them good? Right? Why is this one hanging in the MoMA? Why are these ones that I showed you, why are they hanging in the MoMA? Right? And we'll talk about this. I'll just get into it a little bit. Like, I'm going to teach you context and contrast. You guys remember that from Intro to Design? Context, contrast. Lauren, were you in my class? Wait, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
I said I was for a little bit of it, and then my car got stolen from my ex.
From your ex or by your ex?
By my ex. And then I ended up getting it back, had to buy a new car. It was like a really big, rough thing, but I actually didn't end up being able to finish your last class and I have to retake it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was you, but your last name's throwing me off. I thought it was Cox.
I got divorced, so.
Oh, okay. I've been there.
Yeah,
Welcome to
it's
the
wonderful.
club.
Wonderful.
But no, we'll go into like context and contrast next class. So I can explain to you like what makes a good poster, right? What was his name? Oh, I can't think of his name right now. I will remember it by the time next class comes around. But the quote is, a good poster enters through the eyes and explodes in the brain. Right? It wasn't Duchamp. It was. There's a poster in here about him. Hang on. It's going to drive me nuts if I don't. Oh, it's been a while since I've taught, so all these names are. Nah, I can't remember. I'll look it up. Somebody, actually, you guys for homework, Google that. A good poster enters through the eye and explodes in the mind. Google that, and next week tell me who wrote it, who said it. Okay, are we clear on what's due next week?
Just let me get this straight. Actually, I forget. Could you?
No, I want to hear it from one of you guys. What's due next week?
We need 50 thumbnails for a political poster.
Yep.
On a poster?
About a poster. Concepts for your political poster.
We need a mood board for.
Yeah, 20 to 30.
And let me just say this. I don't know if everybody's politically motivated. As you can tell, it's making me nervous because it's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm usually not this scared, but I don't know.
So
let's do this. Let's do this. If you don't feel strongly about a candidate and say, I don't care, then just do one about voting. Get out and vote. But if you like a candidate, then do the one that you like.
Oh, thank God.
Is that fair? Or if you don't think voting's important, you can do one that says, don't vote. I don't, as long as it's cool and I don't care what you say. It's up to you. So it's either about voting or about a specific candidate. But I want 50 thumbnails, 50. And then I want a Pinterest board or some kind of thing where we have 20 to 30 examples of good poster design.
what kind of board? Wait. Did I ask the wrong question here?
No, there's no wrong question. Like a board, like a Pinterest board or a mood board. You know, like a mood board, you can like throw, like say for instance, if you don't use Pinterest, you can get a bunch of JPEGs of all the cool posters that you want and just put them on a one sheet or two pages in InDesign and make a PDF, and you can upload, you can share that. Just so long as you can share it on Zoom.
Okay, so just let me get this straight. 50 thumbnails for a poster and 20 to 30 Pinterest things on a board.
Yeah, of good political posters or posters in general. Doesn't have to be political, but good posters. Let's just say that.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I was clear there.
Yeah, me too. I want to make sure it's clear. So 50 thumbnails in a means by which you can share via Zoom. And then I want 20 to 30 good examples of posters that you can share via Zoom. And then I want you to look up, oh man, I almost had the name. It was almost there. I want you to look up a good poster enters through the eye and explodes in the mind. And I want you to tell me who said that. Is that enough? Is that enough homework?
That's plenty.
Okay. All right. Well, without that, does anybody have any questions, concerns, things that they want to talk about before we exit?
I have a question. I'm getting emails from Adobe that the college has set up accounts for us. And the account they're sending me is the same exact login as my personal account that I pay for. So I'm not quite sure what's going on.
That's weird.
Because there's no way to pay for this account that the school is giving us, apparently.
Well, you should have, I think, this is what I know. I think because you are at Nashville State, you have access to the Adobe suite, right? That's the extent of my knowledge. I suggest that you get with Beth, or she said that she would email me once things are squared away, but I'll have to check my inbox. I don't think I've gotten anything yet. If I get anything like that, I will forward it to you, but it sounds like you need to talk to somebody who knows. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
just
talk
not
to
sure
like maybe
what's
help desk.
going on.
Yeah, I have no clue when it comes to that stuff.
It would be awesome if we were getting it for free.
I think that's
To my knowledge, you can get it for free through your school email. That's what I was told earlier today.
Yeah, it's free.
But I pay for mine, so I don't really care either way because I like to have it throughout the summer for work.
What, they cut it off? It doesn't work during the... That's crazy.
I mean, it didn't, as far as I know, they said you can have it, and it's only a limited time thing for this semester, is what I was told today by David.
David, you know, he taught me, David.
Did he?
Yep.
I love David.
I do
He's good
too.
people.
He's awesome.
Good people.
He's awesome.
He's the best.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else?
When I mentioned what kind of board, I meant what kind of material. I meant what kind of material do you want the stuff on? Like cardboard? What kind of paper? What kind? Or does it matter?
No paper. For what you need, like for your thumbnails, I want you working in a sketchbook, right? And take a picture.
Yeah, I know that.
But for like the mood board, I want that completely electronically. I'm just calling it a board. You know, I just want it. I want you to either use Pinterest or put something electronic together, like a PDF that you can show via Zoom.
Okay, for a moment I thought you meant you wanted something printed, but
Nope.
I get that.
Nope, not yet. Okay, we good? All right, it's nice to see you guys. Nice to meet everybody, and I will see you next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Peace. For now.